All right, 12 state. Hey, let's go ahead. Let's talk about bracing and let's talk about belts. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about our own bracing or your own natural weightlifting belt. And that's gonna be coming from a diaphragmatic breath, okay? That is not breathing up through the chest here. It's actually from breathing through your belly, your obliques, and even your low back. Okay, so a way to check to see if you are breathing through a diaphragmatic breath is gonna be, I like to take my thumbs, find your belly button, and lay your thumbs out to the side. Then you're gonna go to the end of the thumb. Okay, you're gonna poke in through your belly. Now from here, if you inhale, you should be able to feel that you're pressing your thumbs away with your breath. Another thing you can do, you can also put your hands around your obliques. And when you breathe here, you should feel your hands expanding outwards, and even in that position, your thumb should even press back because of how big of an inhale you're taking in. Okay, so if that's your natural weightlifting belt, what's the purpose of putting a belt on over your natural belt? That's gonna be a direct feedback. It's gonna be a neurological feedback to tell you if you've taken your breath or not. Okay, so as I put on this belt, I'm gonna put it right around that belly button. That's that similar region in which you just had your thumbs pressed into. Okay, I'm not gonna put my belt too tight, and I'll explain that in a second. I'm gonna put my belt on, and now when I take a breath in, imagine I'm in a back squat position. I can feel myself pressing into that belt, which tells me that I've taken my diaphragmatic breath, and I've taken that diaphragmatic breath, and I'm set in a good position or a good brace. Okay, with that said, when we start to think about getting set up into a belt, I think more often than not, people put their belts way too freaking tight. Okay, we gotta make sure that we keep that belt a little bit loose. And the reason for that is that it's going to allow for you to get more air into your diaphragm. And that's gonna be what ultimately gives us the stability that we're looking for. And for example here, obviously this is too loose right now. Just moving this out of the way. I have my breath in, I can take a big inhale. Yeah, I can get a lot of air in that way. If I put my belt on and it's too tight, I can barely get any air in through my diaphragm. Okay, I have a lot of pressure, but I also don't have a whole lot of air. And we know that the stability is gonna be coming from the uptake into the diaphragm, or the amount of oxygen in there. So it's gonna be very important that we have a little bit of space in your belt. I usually say 1 to 2 fingers through that front is gonna be enough for you to take that big inhale in. I can feel the feedback from my belt, and then from there, descending in your squat or your deadlift or whatever it may be, you should feel a big increase of stability when it comes to around your midsection. Okay, when is it appropriate to use a belt? Okay, I don't want you guys to live in a belt. Okay, I'm not against a belt. I like to use a heavy belt near high loads as well, or heavy loads as well. With that said though, I try to keep it off for as long as I can. Okay, what is as long as I can? Anything under 80%, I'm probably not gonna mess with the belt. Okay, I don't wanna become reliant on a belt. I don't wanna constantly need the feedback from my belt. But when it comes to heavier loads, again, throughout the cycle, I'll try to keep my belt off until we're looking at 80+% loads. And I'm even trying to keep it off maybe until 85, maybe even 90% loads. With that said, it's a tool. It's something that needs to be practiced with. But with that said, I don't want you guys to become reliant on these things. Okay, play around with it, see if you like it. We see top end competitors use them. We see top end competitors not use them. So that right there tells me that it is more of a preference. In order for you to find your preference, you gotta play with both. Okay, guys, go ahead, play with the belt. Ask us if you need any help with it.